Luigi's Mansion was one of my favorite childhood games, and I played through it countless times in the past before, and it's really a Halloween tradition for me to play through the game at least once a year. With that being said, I never really wanted or expected a sequel out of Luigi's Mansion, but we did get one on the 3DS, which was my primary reason for owning a 3DS, that and Animal Crossing New Leaf. Now don't get what I'm about to say next twisted, because I did enjoy Dark Moon. However, it almost seems like Dark Moon kind of ignored a lot of what made the first game so great. For starters, the ghosts are more silly and comedic, which I did enjoy. However, there are no portrait ghosts in the game, and it's level based instead of being, just openly able to just explore the mansion like the first game. However, Luigi's Mansion 3 kind of returned to the roots a little bit, and I wouldn't say it's a lot more like the first game. If anything, it's a lot more like Dark Moon, but I think it's a nice healthy mesh of both 1 and 2. I remember being very excited when this game came out, so I set aside some time, took the day off of work, ordered myself a pizza, got some snacks, got a 6-pack, and I just really sunk my teeth into this game. And without any further ado, I'd like to take you on a journey through this game with me. So go ahead and grab yourself a drink, a slice of pizza, and let's get started. The game starts off with Luigi and friends on a tour bus headed towards a hotel that they were invited to for a free stay, and once they get there, it almost seems too good to be true, and these hotel employees look a little bit suspect, but we'll ignore all that because it's a free stay. After going to our own separate rooms for the night and going to sleep, Luigi wakes up in the middle of the night to hear Princess Peach screaming. He then pulls out his flashlight that he conveniently packed with him, because Luigi keeps that thing on him. After you investigate Mario's room and Peach's room, you make your way down to the other end of the hallway to check out the Toad's rooms, and as you're going down the hallway, you pass the elevator that opens up, and the owner of the hotel comes out to reveal her evil plan to you. Basically, she's a big fangirl of King Boo, and she lured you to this hotel to give you to King Boo, and there he is, run! Cornered, we jump down a laundry chute that leads to the basement, and as we're exploring the basement, we find a very familiar looking car, and what's that inside it? A poltergeist? I guess we can really start busting now. I like how in this game you don't just suck up the ghosts with the vacuum, but you kind of can beat them up a little bit as you swing them around with the vacuum, and you can even swing them into each other to cause extra damage. As we're exploring the hotel, we find a painting of Egad, which would probably explain why his car was in the basement with a poltergeist. Well, we better find a blacklight to free him. Before we get to the bottom of that mystery, we need to get to the bottom of the mystery as to why these ghosts are putting up multiple wanted posters of me in the same hallway. I'm pretty sure one would have sufficed, sir. Get this guy out of here. So anyway, I found the blacklight and a couple of mysteries in your bedroom. I know what you've been doing. But anyway, we use it to free Egad, and guess what? This buffoon got tricked into coming to this hotel just like us, but at least they're a little bit more honest with him about the ghost presence here. So then Egad tries to pull a move on us, and he's like, hey, what do you say you and I get out of here, Luigi? But then Luigi's like, but Mario, and he's like, son of a bitch! So I got this portable lab in the basement, Luigi. Just lead the way and we'll go set it up. Okay, dweeb, but I'ma suck on your glasses first. Why'd he run like that? It's like his head's trying to keep up with his body. Oh look, it's the bellhop standing between us and that portable lab. Well, I guess we better whoop him like his mama should've. And he dropped an elevator button so we could travel in more floors. We're gonna be spending a lot of time in this elevator, so you better prepare your small talk. But before that, Egad has to stun on us with this portable lab. Check this out. Now we gotta travel to the 5th floor to get Egad's suitcase. Man, that bellhop, he was hopping. Now, Egad, I'm sure whatever you're calling me about right now is probably pretty important, but I need a moment to enjoy this big-ass ringtone. Anyway, back to looking for Egad's suitcase, and look at that. Little mini golf hole in this room. Let me just sink that in real quick. I love the fact that actually did something. So anyway, I find Egad's suitcase, but then a maid ghost shows up and eats it and runs away. Now, I'd love to chase after her, but I'm going to need a moment to explore Egad's room a little bit. I need to know what he's got going on in here. Let me just turn on some tunes real quick as I get scared by this toolbox over here. And I have to say, the view from Egad's room is pretty nice. And is that a dead YouTuber with 10 million subscribers? Anyway, that's enough nonsense for now. Let's go back after that maid and hit her with a plunger because she's full of shit. And she's got the 3rd floor button? Well, we better check that out. But first, we got to bring this suitcase back to Egad. So then Egad shows me what's inside the suitcase is a goo version of me, Luigi. And then he gets real kinky and he puts me inside a cage and he's like, hey, try to escape. So I do so as Luigi, who's afraid of water. So I guess don't touch water if you're Luigi, but not you. You better be touching water with your lips and throat daily. So now that I have Luigi, I can get into areas that I couldn't get into before, like gates and vents. Ew, don't hiss at me, cretin. Okay, let's move on to the 3rd floor. So you seen any good movies lately? Okay guys, very funny. No, I'm laughing. I'm having a good time. So this floor is kind of like a mall featuring Paul Blart Dead Cop as he tries to go through a door and he drops a key that we then pick up and use on this cash register, which prompts a ghost to try to come out and scare Luigi to take the key. Seeing that Luigi's not afraid of him, he takes the key anyway, so we spank him and get the key back. We then take this key to the next register and use it, only for that register to pop out another key that will get stolen again, but this time by some baby ghost that we then proceed to suck up and then accidentally walking on this poor ghost changing, "I am sorry, sir and or ma'am." We then repeat these register shenanigans for 2 more registers as we finally get the key to Paul Blart's room, but then we get stopped by this brick wall of a ghost that we just slap anyway. Hey yo, what's going on with these chairs over here? Anyway, back to Paul, who thinks that just because he's behind a security gate that we can't get him, but Luigi thinks otherwise. Oh shit, this man's got some sick combat moves and a water gun. Did this guy fight in Nam? Regardless, we'll slap him up anyway and grab that 2nd floor elevator button. That weather out there is crazy, isn't it? Wait a minute, I think we've been to this floor before, and oh hey look, it's Polterpup and he's smelling something. Why don't we follow that scent and see what's going on? Looks like there's a lot of smoke coming from the kitchen. Why don't we use Luigi to suck up all this smoke? Oh look, it's a chef ghost who clearly sucks at cooking since he's smoking up the place. Let's get that frying pan out of his hand and him into this vacuum, and oh look, an elevator button. Let me just grab that. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Mouse, but what the hell? Alright, let's just use some cheese to lure him out and grab that elevator button from him, and oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh cool, look, a pool table. It'd be pretty cool if Slim Bankshot was playing at, oh, a cutscene? Could it be Slim? Oh, it's just a Slim ghost, not Slim Bankshot. Slim or not, he's going in the vacuum and we're back at the mouse hunt. Okay, I think we need an exterminator because that's definitely too many. Now finally, after all that hassle, we can finally get to the 4th floor, and why are you preventing me from being in the 4th floor? Yeah, this better be important. You're lucky this shop thing kicks ass, EGAD, otherwise I would kick your ass. Oh hey look, there are boos in this game and you can grab them by their tongues and smack them around. And now we move on to the 4th floor that has a stage and a piano. Oh, could it possibly be Melody playing this piano? Oh, it's this guy who's going to play musical chairs with me and have a ballet, and then he's going to possess this piano that we're going to blow up and then suck him up. You ain't no Melody, sir. On that note, I wanted to pause our journey to talk about how the first time I played through this game, I went in completely blind. I refused to look up any information on it, like guides or anything like that, and I noticed that there's a gallery in EGAD's lab that has like 4 different sections in it. It has standard ghost, boss ghost, boos, and then rare ghost. And I was convinced that these rare ghosts were throwback ghosts from Luigi's Mansion 1. I mean, up until this point, there were multiple locations that I thought were prime locations for Luigi's Mansion ghosts. Like the stage, for example, seemed like a good place for Melody. The pool room looked like a good place for Slim Bankshot. And then there's also this dining room that seemed like a good place for Mr. Lugs. So I repeatedly returned to these areas to try to like look around to see if there were secrets to maybe get them to like show up, and I just found nothing. But I noticed specifically on the stage in the theater there was this little thing that like I couldn't figure out what it was for, but like you'd press a button, Luigi would look at it, and I just kept looking at that thing trying to figure out how to work it because I was convinced it was the key to finding Melody. But anyway, back to our journey. The 6th floor is definitely different. It's castle themed with an arena in it that I'm being challenged in. I just gotta figure out how to get down there first. Oh look, a secret. What's going on over here, the little boy squad? I'll tell you what, this king guy definitely gives you a run for your money. I love that instead of actual crowd members, he has cardboard cutouts behind him. After one good jousting session, you finally suck him up and snag that 7th floor elevator button. How's the family? This floor's looking a little bit too overgrown. Oh hey look, it's the elevator button. Why don't we just go yoink that real quick? And is that a floating flowering pot? Oh, come on now, Luigi, you could have stopped that. And now he grew this plant way too big. Okay, let's just climb on up after it. Oh look, it's a new ghost and he's kind of a creep. Oh, now Big Man over here is flailing around with leaves on his eyes. Get those leaves off your eyes. Just wipe them off. What are you doing? Oh look, a buzzsaw. Let me just use that to destroy everything in this room. Excuse me, Mr. Plant. That was rude, and now I'm gonna have to cut you down. Now we finally made it to the top and we could pop this puppy open and get that elevator button. And oh, come on now, Luigi. You could have caught that. So now we just slide all the way back down to get the button stolen from us by the gardener. Okay, buddy. Now it's officially time to fight. Get that little dog plant thing of yours to bite this nut real quick. Haha, got him. Buzzsaw. That'll get him. Give me that 8th floor button. All these plant shenanigans. I'm tired of it. Let's go to the 8th floor. Oh look, it's a movie studio with a very distressed looking director who lost his megaphone, and there's a bunch of TVs around that we can crawl through like Sudoku from The Ring. I guess we'll help the director out by filming some scenes for him, starting off with this Ring parody, which honestly I never would have guessed that Nintendo would have a Ring reference in it, but I'm absolutely here for it and I love it. Then we film a medieval movie, and then like an anti-firefighting movie, and then wrap it up with a spider fighting movie, and finally get that megaphone. After you give him his megaphone back, he notices that Luigi has some nice features and a nice build, so he wants to star him in a Godzilla parody movie where you fight a ghost in a Godzilla costume, and after you finish filming the scene, he just gives you the 9th floor button. You don't have to like fight him or anything like that or capture him, you can just leave him be, but if you so desire you can go on into his editing room and capture him, but you absolutely don't need to, and you shouldn't, you piece of dog bag person. Honestly, that was a little bit too easy, but let's just go ahead and go on to the 9th floor, and excuse me, Mrs. Kitty, that was rude. So let's go ahead and chase after her as she escapes onto the firefighting movie set, and you give her a flash, and she doesn't like that very much as she turns into a giant cat and then jumps on top of one of the buildings waiting for you to turn your back, and when you do so she pounces on you, but with a well-timed flash you could stun her and take one of her 3 tails. But then she escapes onto the main set and you flash her and she escapes through the floor. We then take on after her back to the garden floor and encounter this weird ghost. Gross. But then we find her in this bedroom to fight her a second time and take her second tail, and then she escapes into this bathroom where we fight her a third time and take her third and final tail. She does end up escaping, but not before dropping the 9th floor elevator button. Dog bag. What the f*** is a dog bag? We then go to the 9th floor for some Night at the Museum activities as there's thunder and lightning that flash, revealing this T-Rex in a new position each time. We then fight this possessed T-Rex, breaking his bones, revealing a caveman ghost that we give a little clap clap to before sucking him up in the vacuum, saving Toad, who gives us a basement floor 2 button, which before we return to the elevator to put that button in, we just gotta throw Toad around a little bit just for the f*** of it. I'm not going to talk about this floor because this floor sucks, this ghost sucks, and I refuse. Moving on to the 10th floor. This floor is pretty cool because it's a tomb with tomb traps, so you better watch out, and lots of sand with sand physics. Just so you know, you can suck up all the sand in this big ass room right here, and you absolutely don't have to do it, but I did. There's also a pharaoh ghost that you release from her tomb, and ungrateful as she is, she hits you with a floor trap, sending you deeper into the tomb to fight off mummies and do death trap puzzles. Once you get out of the tomb back into the big room, you fight her as she makes these sand monsters that you just have to suck up all the sand with so you can stun her and then slap her up to get that 11th floor button. Oh look, it's 3 magician ghosts. I really like the whole magic vibe of this floor. There's a lot of mimics on this floor, but this one particularly is pretty interesting because it's just this key rabbit that only wants to run away from you. Did you know you could punch your ghost in the face? Well, now you do. After you find the room that the 3 magicians escaped into, they all do hat tricks as they pull something out of their hat, and one of them pulls Luigi's hat out of their hat, and they all act disgusted and just throw it at Luigi and evacuate the scene. This next part is pretty interesting because when you leave through the door that you came in through, you end up in a completely different room, and then from this point on, every single door you go through warps you to a completely different spot on the floor, and it just becomes really confusing, and I just love when games purposely do this confusing stuff to just throw you off. Once you find the 3 magicians, they warp you to a battle arena that reminds me a lot of the battle arenas that they had in Luigi's Mansion 1. You have to flip their hats in order to capture them, and once you capture one of them, there's still 3 hats floating around, so you just have to keep an eye on which hats actually contain ghost girls, and once you get all 3 of them, you get the 12th floor button. The 12th floor is pirate themed, but we can't progress all the way through it because there's a giant ship hull blocking one of the doors, but then Egad calls us up and he's like, yo, I think I got a solution for that. Why don't you head on down to my lab? I'll show you a thing or two. So then we visit him in his lab, and he tells us that he had Toad go to the second basement to recover a part for the poltergust that allows us to use super suction, but Toad got scared down there and he dropped both the part and the GoPro that he had on him. So we have to go down there to save him, you know, maybe toss him around a little bit, throw him up on some ledges, throw him through some walls, you know, normal Toad stuff. It looks like someone was real lonely in this basement. So anyway, we get the part to EGAD, which allows us to use super suction, which we use on that bitch-ass hall, and also it's the thing that I saw in the theater earlier in the game that I didn't know what it was. It was actually an outlet for super suction, which just allows you in that room to just suck up all the walls, revealing an extra room behind the stage. But anyway, back to the pirate floor. As we move deeper into this floor, I'm just absolutely loving the whole vibe of it, and I'd honestly go to a hotel with this theme. It'd be super cool. So we board this ship to fight this shark ghost who possesses the ship, and oddly enough, he sounds like Mr. Luig'is. I'd really love to make an edit of this fight with Scotty's The Black Pearl Pirates of the Caribbean remix, but I just don't want to get attacked by copyright. But this fight is one of my favorites in the game. Basically, you just throw barrels in the ship's mouth, having it explode, and then the shark comes out to try to hook you, but then you give him that flash and spank. Near the end of the fight, he tries to tip the whole ship into his mouth, but then you gotta plunge onto the side of the ship and just hold on for dear life. After defeating him, you get the 13th floor button, and you save a toad while you're at it. The 13th floor is a full gym, and let me tell you what, it's clean. I'd sign up for this gym for sure. As we're minding our business near the front desk, there's a smack at the window behind us. As we go to investigate, we see this Michael Phelps motherfucker flexing off that 14th floor button. Sounds like a challenge to me. Let's just figure out how to get down to that pool. Looks like we got an infestation on this floor, so it's not nearly as clean as I previously thought. Oh look, two big guys with boxing gloves and barbells. I just absolutely love the fact that the standard ghosts sometimes pick up items to make fighting them more challenging. We just gotta get this barbell guy to throw a barbell at the boxing glove guy, and bam, we got him. Oh look, it's Michael Phelps ready to receive his ass whooping. Honestly, this guy's kind of a chump, but I guess that's why Polterkitten has to step in to steal that 14th floor button as we go round two with her, smacking her around the gym, the pirate floor, the magician floor, and finally capturing her and getting that 14th floor button. I really like Polterkitten, and I really hope she returns for future games like Polterpup. But anyway, let's move on to the 14th floor. Oh shoot, it's the club! But I guess we're not welcome? Well anyway, since the music stopped and no one's here, I guess we could just grab this button and get out. Well, that makes sense. It can never be that easy. I love these ghost moves as we move onto the dance floor and bust some moves with them, trying to get that button back. After we deal with them, the DJ steps in like absolutely not, trying to throw some records at us, but we pop off that wig of hers and pop her right in the vacuum. Now we can move on to the 15th and final floor, which is an absolute penthouse. I have to say, I knew that Helen Gravely was a fan of King Boo, but being in her penthouse really shows you how big of a fan she really is with all these King Boo statues all over the place. Like heck, even the door to her office is a giant King Boo door that you have to use these 4 gemstone keys on in order to open it up, that you get from these puzzle rooms featuring lasers and a model of the Gloomy Manor. Once we finally reach her office, we see how hideous she truly is before she conceals herself back up with makeup. I really like how this fight utilizes Luigi. Like, Luigi avoids these lasers and then she puts up these light walls, but then as Luigi you go underneath the floor and you can turn off each individual light wall, giving Luigi more room to work with as he beats up Helen. But to combat this, Helen randomly floods the floor. After you defeat her, you free Mario, and I just love how Mario is in this game. Like, both Mario and Luigi have platforming backgrounds, so them running and jumping around like madmen isn't unusual. However, in Luigi's Mansion it is, because you can't really jump in this game. So just seeing Mario run and jump around like he does in Mario Odyssey in this game is kind of comical. Like, just following Mario up the staircase as he's running and jumping up it, and Luigi's just walking / running, and there's this one section of the staircase that's just completely demolished, and Mario just jumps over it like it's no big deal, but then Luigi just has to like shimmy along the edge just to get to the other section of the staircase. Then you get outside and Mario just platforms his way all the way up to the roof, while Luigi has to find an alternate route just to climb all the way up there. Once you get to the top, you save Princess Peach from her painting, and you have a nice little group hug moment before King Boo shows up to be like, absolutely not, get back in my painting. But then Polterpup comes by and accidentally saves Luigi. Noticing this, King Boo's like, alright Luigi, I guess we can fight. You then avoid his fireballs, tongue, and bombs as you scoop up one of the bombs and throw it right back at him so you and Luigi can scoop him up by his tongue and smack him around a bit. But then he clones himself, so there's 2 of him, so you have to just memorize which one is the real one so you can bomb him again and scoop him up and smack him around some more. Now he's really mad, and he's like, I'll capture this whole damn hotel. I don't give a f***. I'll give you 4 minutes to figure it out, as he clones a second version of himself, and he's not playing around with these bombs anymore. After you give him one good last smack, you finally capture him, but then the hotel starts crumbling and you fall with it. Polterpup ends up catching you before you hit the ground, and then you free your friends from the painting, and you have a nice little moment of happiness before the poltergust explodes, releasing all the ghosts that you caught throughout the hotel, and they try to steal the King Boo crown from Luigi, but then it disappears in his hand, and so too does the regression. But then they realize that their home is destroyed, but then Egad comes in with a hard hat and a plan. As the credits roll, we see several images of Luigi and friends helping the ghost rebuild the hotel, and after the credits are finished, you get a newly constructed hotel that's based upon how much cash you got throughout the game, and I like how it's similarly to the Luigi's Mansion 1 mansion ratings. Overall, I love how silly and goofy this game is, and I really think the exploration and boss ghosts were a big improvement over Dark Moon. I just wish there were more passive ghosts like there were in Luigi's Mansion 1, but going back to that rant from earlier about trying to find Melody, Slim Bangshot, and Mr. Lugs, the rare ghosts I found out are actually ghosts that can be found in the Scare Scraper mode. Scare Scraper was one of my favorite things from Dark Moon, and I'm glad that it returned in this game with up to 8-player multiplayer. It's really just 4-player, but everybody can have a Luigi companion for split screen, which, on that note, I love that throughout the story mode of this game, you can always have somebody jump in as Luigi. But moving back to Scare Scraper, I absolutely love this mode. It's just fun to just jump in and just start busting some ghosts, but I will say it's pretty decently challenging with the time limits. The more people you have, the more ground you can cover, and sure, you can play alone, but I think this is best played with friends. There's a couple of different traps, like door traps and floor traps, that your friends have to help pull you out of, and then there's also these pressure plates that require everybody in the game to get on top of it to open up this specific door that usually has more ghosts in it or whatever the current objective is. There's a couple of different types of objectives. The main one is just capturing ghosts, but then there's also collecting gold, killing crows and spiders, and then there's also my favorite one, which is rescuing toads and bringing them back to this TV. I like that you can just have this little gang of toads following you around. If you play Scare Scraper with more than 5 floors, every 5th floor will be a ghost hunt for the rare ghosts, and the rare ghosts are the ones that I thought were the throwback ghosts from Luigi's Mansion 1, but in reality what they are is they're just standard ghosts that have like special variations. However, in Scare Scraper, we do get a Luigi's Mansion 1 throwback ghost in the form of Boolasis, who's the final boss of the Scare Scraper. It's pretty much the King Boo boss fight, but when you throw a bomb at him, he explodes into a bunch of tiny boos that you and your friends then have to suck up. It's honestly really cool doing this fight with friends, though. And you know what else is cool? You, for making it to the end of this video. I love Luigi's Mansion 3, and I hope it loves me back. If you enjoyed this video, or also love Luigi's Mansion 3, why don't you leave a like, maybe a comment down below telling me what you love about the game, and you know, if you enjoy content like this, maybe consider subscribing, why don't you? Maybe do it, alright? Alright, and until next time, bye bye.